Without even recognizing it, physics is a major part of football and everyday life. Like Bill Belichick said, the action that happens on a football field involves mass, velocity, acceleration, and many other concepts. This video will try and explain them. If you noticed, Andy Dalton faced the challenge of throwing the ball over the linesman's hands so that they could not block it. In order to find out the maximum height of the ball, we must use the equation distance of y equals 1/2 of the acceleration in the y direction multiplied by time squared, 1 second being the time and 9.8 meters per second squared being the acceleration. We get the answer of the ball reaching 4.9 meters from the ground and about 3.4 meters from where the ball left his hand. At this point, the Bengals wide receiver, Jerome Simpson, number 89, has just received an 11-yard pass from quarterback Andy Dalton. In order to find out just exactly how fast the ball went, we must use the equation of velocity of the ball in the x direction equals distance divided by time. What we know already is the distance 11 yards and the time 1 second. Plugging these two factors into the equation, velocity of the ball in the x direction equals distance divided by time, we find out that the velocity of the ball is 11 yards per second, coming out to 10.06 meters per second ultimately. When Jerome Simpson runs, one thing that is incorporated is Newton's third law, which explains that the mutual forces of action and reaction between two bodies are equal, opposite, and collinear. Jerome Simpson pushes down on the earth with the same force that the earth pushes back on him. Another force to consider is friction. Friction is the opposite force acting upon another force, and even though Jerome Simpson's legs are moving forward, his leg muscles are pushing back on the surface, which in turn propels him forward. What a move! Now that Jerome Simpson has just stuck a landing over Cardinals linebacker Darryl Washington, we must understand that this did not just magically happen. The instant that Jerome Simpson hits the turf, he was decelerated from the acceleration of gravity of negative 9.8 meters per second squared to 0 because the ground was pushing up on him at the exact opposite rate of force of 9.8 meters per second squared times his mass in the upward direction. This explains why when we jump, we do not go through the ground unless there is an unbalanced force and the ground is incapable of pushing upwards at 9.8 meters per second times our mass.
So you could be searching